Late Night Talk. Cover art opinion. The show is for conspiracy theories and everything the world doesn't want to talk about. The show is not about being politically correct because politics are a joke. Plus, cancel culture can't stop us because we have no power and we don't care. Basically, if you like us, do not watch the show.
Welcome back to the first episode of our segment of Late Night Talks. It's your boy, EFCB. You know.
James.
Alan KC08.
Word up.
Word up, word up.
I thought it was CK08. I thought it was CK08.
Yeah, I said that right.
I think you said KC.
Say
Yeah,
Alan.
see.
I say Alan said KC08.
It's fine. Anyways.
It doesn't, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, on this show basically consists of just some wild topics. Sometimes we'll hit on some things that people don't like to talk about much, but we'll talk about it because why not? Let's go ahead and jump into it. First topic, we just gonna present, just hop into it. I'm right here. Let's go. All right, evolution. What was he saying? Present your ideology on evolution.
Okay. So first topic. This is for all my Christians and
Scientists.
scientists. This is two bullets put into one. So we have the evolution process, which is the process of us evolving from apes, and then that's for the scientist. And then in Christianity, we have the belief of Adam and Eve being the first humans to walk the earth. So, what if we put those two beliefs together? In belief that Adam and Eve were apes, and we evolved from there.
I mean, you present the idea. I ain't never thought about it like that. I mean, but then that had to mean, like, technically the way Adam and Eve were at least spoken of, they would have to have the knowledge of humans. Well, I'm gonna get into that. I might bring that up later. Who knows? Let's see if we branch into it because I have an idea about animals being smarter than we think. I'm gonna read a book on it actually, but that would mean like their intelligence would have to be like that level of like, I don't know, because like Adam came and he like named the plants and the trees, or supposedly, and then it was like, and then you have the whole eating the fruit situation. So was this all animal related?
I mean, because some people believe that there are parts in the Bible that are just like left off.
I think of it as more as like, I think a lot of the parts of the Bible I'd be thinking is more metaphorical than literal. Like I was talking to my parents about this. I was like, I feel like certain parts, it wasn't like when he said these things, people were like, there's no way these things happen. I'm not saying like God couldn't make these things happen per se, but I'm just speaking like metaphorically. A lot of these things could be, well, I mean, speaking hypothetically, a lot of these things could be metaphorical. Like, it's like, okay, when he says like well, I mean, everybody has a flood story. Was this a literal flood? I don't know. I mean, it's a possibility, I guess, that there was a literal flood.
I mean, I guess that makes sense because if everybody's talking about it, this must be like common knowledge that this happened. But like stuff like Abraham being like the father of all of us, like Father Abraham and all that stuff, that's not in every religion. So that might be.
I know in Glitz class last year we compared religion, so a lot of like stuff was actually very, very common. You know, everybody had like a flood story.
Yeah,
and everybody had a concept of the number 7, whether it was 7 days or 7 years or 7 whatever. That was also interesting. That's the metaphorical. Well, like when they say like 7 days, we spoke on it in church the other day. We was like, when it was translated 7 days, we was like, I don't know. I don't personally think it was 7 days. People be like, how he create the whole world in 7 days? Like I said, it doesn't mean I'm saying it's impossible per se.
Mm-hmm.
And what we call days now, a few thousand years ago wasn't even days because pre-calendar there wasn't days.
Yeah.
They,
Mm,
And then you also have to
they
think
didn't even calculate.
yeah.
everything is biased. Like everything in this new world is biased. Like even though we're given the blueprint to the Bible by the prophets that wrote them long ago, these are still books that are being regulated by probably old white men that want to feed their knowledge into you rather the knowledge of those past years, because there's some stuff that they probably don't want us to hear about.
Right, right.
Mm.
We talked about that in AP World History. It was wild.
I did my world history class more. But no, yeah, and then it was like I don't know, yeah, because translation crazy. But I was thinking like 7 days, and people be like, we've been here for millions of years, and a lot of that can be scientifically proven, not humans, but just like the existence of Earth. So I was like, what if 7 days was like a certain amount of times, like whatever you're in now divided by 7. Well, whenever humans appeared, like divided by 7, that would be those 7 days. So like he spent a lot of the part of time making the heavens and the earth, and then the plants, and then the animals. Because I don't know, because the beginning of time is still argued by scientists on how we started. Some say it was a single organism and it just advanced. There's a lot of things on time.
Yeah.
But I
Mm-hmm.
have a question like the Bible doesn't. Well, I know it's making a bit of a jump, but the Bible don't say nothing about other planets, and all it says is God created the heavens and the earth. And I've never known what to think about that because we are well aware there's other planets. You can look into the sky and see them.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm.
aliens exist. Is there another Bible?
So then it's like, did God make the universe, or did He just specifically make the Earth?
And is there other life out there? If
Yeah.
so, did God make these other life?
Yeah.
Or did he
Or do
just
they have gods of their own? Like, do they have their own beliefs? Maybe beliefs and religions.
Yeah, I said, let's say there's other societies out there. Because, universes, immeasurable. What do they have, like, their whole concept? But it's like, God created the heavens and Mars, you know?
Yeah. Like that doesn't sound like that. That's not what it will say. It say He made the heavens and the earth. It says nothing about the other planets. So were these planets just created over time, and then, or was like Earth drifted into the solar system? Like, was it always in the solar system?
Right, because,
Mm.
and people like the Big Bang's not real, a lot of religious people. But I was like, God never says, it never specifies how he makes the earth. It just says
Mm-hmm.
he created the heavens and the earth. So I was like, there's possible that scientists and Big Bang theory could have happened. I feel like people like branch or divide between like religion and science really heavy, but I feel like a bigger bridge could be made than a divide could. I was like, it creates heaven and earth. There may have been a Big Bang, and like the planets expand everywhere. I don't know.
I
Life.
saw this one video. It was this dude. It was this dude, Young Don the Sauce God. He
Yeah.
was a YouTuber that did he used to do animations, and now he does
Yeah.
like podcasts like this, but on live stream
Yeah.
sort of type of thing. And he was like, and it was like proof that Jesus is real. And he was like, what would you have to do in the span of 3 years to have a whole to have a whole religion behind you and people worship you for years and years and years?
Cool.
Yeah.
It's like a cult. Word up. Feel weak. Give 'em a minute. I mean, I guess not always a cult because some say religion's a cult. I said this to my teacher, but she was like, difference between religion and a cult. Usually in religion, you can back out of religion. In many cases, once you're in a cult, you're in a cult. So, I mean,
Yeah,
some
it's
more.
getting out of that.
What are you explaining? Like, what was
Like, okay, so basically what he was saying, his ministry lasted for 3 years. In the Bible, it says his ministry lasted for 3 years.
okay.
What he was saying, like, what would you have to do? Like, they were like, some people say his miracles weren't real. So then, what was he doing for people to have a whole religion based off of just him?
I
Interesting.
don't know, man. I don't know.
So that would have to be saying like something had to do was real, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, was he clearing blind? It's all very possible. I mean, we see like scientists like attempting to do stuff like that now. Like they're probably I think they had like some glasses for people who are like very like lowly couldn't see, and like it brought like their vision back. I've been seeing those videos of people who have like never, how do you say that, never have heard anything, never heard hear, who have never had the ability to hear, gain the ability to hear, like fully deaf people.
yeah.
And so I mean, I could say maybe it's possible, and he just I don't know. But yeah, he got to be doing something, because like people these days are more simple minded, so you can find like a church of Beyonce or something, because those exist. Like people like praise Beyonce like she's a god, or like Kanye West. But those are, I guess, mines are more simpler. I mean, mines are like more simpler now, you know. At the
But
time,
like this was like from years and years ago. Like this happened before any of us were probably even thought of.
I guess more the question is, how does a leader like? How do you become a leader of people? What is done? I mean, yeah, 3 years creates such a big following, and to stay alive this long, there ain't no leaders like that. I mean, people liked King Tut, but you don't see anybody like, yo, King Tut. We still look up to him. It was just like he was historic king. We remember him. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the man was probably one thing. I don't know, providing hope. That's a big thing. I don't know what they were going through at the time, but I mean, giving people a full idea that everything can be all right, and then probably showing like that was possible. I don't know.
I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Because I've noticed you haven't.
Monkeypox, COVID. There's nothing with those anymore.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Marriage equality.
Marriage equality. What you mean? Like everybody getting married?
Yeah,
Marriage equality.
including like the LGBTQ community, all that.
At that part, I don't really have any beef. You know, I don't really care.
Yeah, I could really care less, but you know, some people do care about that stuff, and it's like, imagine if you were in that situation, like somebody told you that you can't get married to the person that you love.
Right, you know, and I ain't even trying to speak politically correct, because like I really don't care. So
Yeah, I could care less about what the government thinks about what I say.
or like people, I'm just speaking on true beliefs. It's not harming anybody. You know, like I feel like, you know, people, you can have your own beliefs and still respect people's right to choice. You feel me?
Hmm.
So it's like, okay, let's say hypothetically you don't believe in the whole concept of gay, but you should have a understanding belief of people. People's, you know, I don't know. You should be able to marry who you want, you know? It doesn't affect anybody that it happens. Like
Mm-hmm.
if I'm married to a woman and two gay people get married, it doesn't stop my marriage or affect my marriage.
Yeah.
I still wake up, go to work, be married, and go to life.
Have kids.
Right.
Uh,
Okay.
Okay.
yeah. Get 2 kids, bro.
That's
Twins.
Very specific. You got specific.
Mm.
Ah,
Happily ever after. How much love?
Okay, let's talk about something different. You mentioned COVID and monkeypox.
monkeypox.
Some people think that back in the COVID days, some people think that COVID wasn't real. It was just something to,
It's a Democratic hoax.
yeah,
Mess up the Republican Party and what their beliefs are.
Mm.
COVID not being real has always been crazy to me because there's a lot of people. I'm just sure there's a community out there who still believe COVID never existed. It was just leverage for something to someone and help somebody.
yeah. At the end of the day, we don't. The government knows more than we do. Okay. At the end of the day, that's like we can't really stop that from happening. Like the government is always going to have control over everybody they govern. Government.
The-
The root of the word government is govern. To govern people means to lead them, to be in
Right.
control of them.
And I'm not necessarily saying the government makes these diseases. I'm just saying there could be a lot of better control with them, and they choose to not do that. You know, so like the government says there's a disease out there. I'm a not necessarily I'm gonna believe them usually because like
Yeah, but you never believe anything that you just like. You don't just believe stuff that you hear. You can't trust everybody. You can't trust everybody. That's something that every parent should instill in their child. You don't believe or trust everybody. You got to do your research.
yeah, but there was a point it was like 10,000 people dead, and there was like, COVID's still a joke, and it was like
Mm.
2,000. I mean, it was like 30,000 people. COVID's a joke.
And I'm sure some of that belief was just that it was just some other sickness, like some
Yeah,
other sickness
I've
that
seen.
was taking all these people out,
I
and it
see.
wasn't really COVID. They were just using COVID as like a cover up. But it was
Yeah.
like multiple sicknesses that are doing the same thing, but they want to keep us calm. Like they didn't want us to start like getting afraid and stuff, because then it would have been like the end of the world nearly.
Yeah, when I seen people like they was talking about they was like what they say. A lot of people didn't believe the numbers were real. A lot of people didn't
That's
believe like
also
people were dying. They was like, no, all these people are dying. And like people said, I see how it was a problem. Only thing that made people not believing COVID real was a problem was because this caused them to stop like following any rules that could help us.
yeah.
You know, because like mentally for your mental health, sometimes it might feel good to just pretend that 500,000 people didn't just die from this single disease alone and that it didn't shut down the world. Like mentally, sometimes that's okay. But then once what you're doing is putting other people's lives at risk, that's when it becomes
Yeah,
Coronavirus.
coronavirus, you know?
coronavirus.
So like that, it wasn't the like, I mean, not believing, you look at those people like, what's wrong with you not believing? Denial is a common thing when it's something serious, but once you're causing problems is when it goes wrong.
I have a very good topic.
What's up?
What is it?
January 6th.
January 6th.
White people. You know.
Think about it though. Think about it though. This
Yeah.
is a protest. We've been protesting since the beginning of our country.
Word up.
Mhm.
Like us as black people, we protest all the time.
Yep.
Black Lives Matter.
Exactly.
That's fine. I'm
And
sorry. That's
all of those aren't like peaceful. They're not always peaceful. So, was it just a one-time thing? Like, because of course you're not gonna have a peaceful protest, especially when it comes to voting rights and all that stuff and whatever they was marching about. I think it was about Trump's presidency ending or something like that, or them tampering or Democrats tampering with the numbers or something like that.
There's so many levels to this thing because
At what point do you like be like, because this is some real stuff right here. Like you okay, it was a not so peaceful protest. I get it. But at what point do you determine like where everything started going wrong?
right.
Yeah.
I think it all went downhill when they crashed Capitol. First off, watching this live was like the craziest thing as a person.
Yeah.
Because
Because yeah.
what you saying? You can speak.
Because one time when I was watching this Black Lives Matter protest with my mom and my sister, it was this one place that the police officers like barging through the doors and there was like glass, like guns, like gun proof and everything, bro. It was crazy.
All right, but even Black Lives Matter is like you can watch it and you're like, I mean, even
It's not really anything new because we've been doing this since the civil rights movement.
Yeah.
It's never been always peaceful. Like there's never been like an always peaceful. Like you have to every Martin, you have a Malcolm.
Yeah, we talked about this in legal history the other day, and he was speaking on insurrections because a statement of an insurrection isn't wrong. He was like, what happens in Black Lives Matter protest or just civil rights protest, I prefer because but what happens if those are also insurrections? It's just when is an insurrection considered right? So when you look at January 6th, January 6th is like, I mean, so the Constitution says legally, if you don't agree with the government, you can revolt against them.
Exactly, and that's what they did. That's exactly what they did.
America didn't like the fact that the British, they weren't able to like legally revolt. So like it's in the Constitution, you can revolt, the people can revolt, and then you can also secede. You can the state can leave the country. So I mean, where they went wrong because they at the same time they broke a lot of other laws too, like you crashed the government building. They also made multiple threats, and they like were going through files and offices. I would also like to say that only white people get away with this. Let's be real.
Yeah. Let's be honest.
Let's be real.
If it was Black Lives Matter, it wouldn't have went that far. Like we wouldn't have made it to Capitol.
Hey, we wouldn't have made it to the yard of the Capitol. As real of it is, you got to think. Look at BLM. They crashed into a Walmart and they were shooting rubber bullets, had the streets tear gassed.
Yeah.
Shout out to Walmart and all. But these guys crashed the government building. Security was nowhere to be seen.
Nowhere to be found. One of the most important places in the United States of America, and security is just not there.
And look,
just
and
straight chilling.
Hmm?
Just straight chilling.
Right. Other than that, there was peaceful protests.
No. The thing that no. I was watching the documentary about it, and there was security in there, but they were too scared to defend themselves.
Exactly. It was like that black guy, and it was like one other guy with him. That black guy led like that whole crowd away from the road.
Yeah, from where all the people were. Because it was a real important meeting going on that day.
Yeah, that's because they were. I think they were officiating. They were finalizing the votes. Because like after everybody votes, and then they have to go through like the whole process where like all of those people get together and they officiate, and people they wanted to disrupt the process. There's been peaceful protests that get shot with rubber bullets. So even like black celebrities are coming out there. It was like, y'all, black people don't get no ideas. Not because of like, we're good where we are or anything. It's just like
it was just like a I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
if anything, this was one of the biggest examples of white privilege. People don't want to believe white privilege exists. This was this right here. And I mean, I know they're getting locked up and going to jail now, but that's mainly because people were not going to let it go. And like, there's just certain levels. But like the fact that they were able to make it that far.
To actually get inside of the Capitol building, they were climbing walls before they even touched foot in the Capitol. And you didn't get any backup. Like there was no backup at all. Like y'all didn't talk for backup. I saw people. They usually have videos. There were live streams of people climbing up the walls.
Climbing
up the walls.
Dang.
They were
climbing up the walls, breaking windows, going into the Capitol, and there was no backup.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
no, dang.
Maybe I don't know.
All that time, all them people. Y'all had so much time.
When there's like a protest for a black life, it's not like, let's go out and go kill.
Yeah, it's never. Let's go out and let's burn some buildings and let's shoot up some cop cars. It's never that.
Times, but it's usually there's a build up to it. Their build up was they lost an election and people were angry. That was it.
It's not the same. We're not, because when we do it, we don't do it for just any reason. Like we're doing it for somebody just died. Somebody just died for no reason.
Right. And I'm not saying like I'm not saying I always believe rioting is necessary. I don't
Yeah.
believe looting is always necessary. It's usually how people phrase, like when I go to a protest, if I ever go to a protest, I ain't trying to loot no stores and like, cause some people use it as an opportunity to go loot a store and rob a store.
Yeah.
Or get
Ain't-
arrested.
That's
or
not
something like
what we're here. That's not what we're there
That's not
for
what I
though.
feel it's like
So
about. But then people go out and say things, they're like, well, you guys worried about the Black Lives, but what about those stores that got robbed? I'm like,
that.
living people, a store that probably has insurance. Like you can replace a broken window.
yeah.
We're speaking
Yeah.
lives. Is this a stance? Is this a comparison you want to make right now? But yeah, I don't even believe in black people in protesting right now because that's a
It's just not gonna end the same. Like it's not gonna end the same like it always did.
in my belief
And
and
it's already as bad as it is.
my feeling.
And then everybody's on edge because stuff continues to happen every day.
Yeah, but my feelings on the
Yeah.
black community are completely separate because I've
Yeah,
been mad.
after 2020 was like a snap. It was like a all right, back to reality. Let's
Right, it was, but then it wasn't. That's why I like be kind of mad at black people, cause of like the reason why, cause like they don't really have to. If you ever pay attention to nowadays, like the government doesn't really have to do anything when it comes to us getting mad, cause you can see it'll be mad for like maybe 2 months, 3 months maybe, and it'll seem like something's gonna change, and they'll build it
But it
up,
really isn't.
and then we fight,
and then nothing happens.
and then we just. But not only does nothing happen, we just stop.
Yeah, we just stop out of nowhere.
I look at MLK, like look at like the people in six. Look at MLK and all the people that everybody was like speaking back then. Regardless if you agree with them or not, consistency was heavy. Okay,
Yeah.
one law was passed. What's the next one we're getting passed? What's the next one we're getting passed? They were knocking down. Whereas they passed a court verdict, and we were like, well, nah, because after George Floyd court's verdict was passed, we shouldn't have stopped because it's bigger
Exactly.
than George Floyd. George Floyd was just
We got lucky that he got convicted of murder.
right. They
Yeah.
only did that because of the people. Like if there wasn't such a big uproar, because I mean, this Black Lives Matter protests were international. Like there was people in other countries.
Literally. In
speaking-
other countries. This like at this point you gotta do something.
And the crazy thing is,
That's when we put the government in a corner though. Cause like if you make the wrong move right here, the whole world is gonna be on you.
but that's if we keep going, but we don't. Like
Yeah,
after,
we just stop. Like I don't even know when we stopped. I think we stopped after his funeral.
it was after the verdict. Like okay, so black community is kind of like, well, this is how I feel they see it. They see it as kind of like a baby. The baby's crying. Let the baby get some cereal. Oh, the baby keeps crying. Just put a pacifier in his mouth. And like we just get pacified all the time, and we allow like the government to do it.
Yeah.
Like okay, cool. Ooh, they say the guy who killed George Floyd gets time in jail, as he should. And I was like, okay, black people stop talking, and then we stop, and it's like, no, this is, but there's no law passed. There was a George Floyd Act that was supposed to pass, then it blocked it, and I don't know. Black people believe the Democrats, so we voted for Joe Biden, and so surprisingly, he did nothing for anybody. And Kamala Harris were converse. So we had to vote her. I mean, like she was vice president, but we had to believe in her too. All of these were people who,
And that was just because she was black.
right? Don't even
She
get
was
me
a black
started.
woman in America living it up.
Right? Don't get me started on black people and Democrats. I ain't even gonna get into that today. I'm gonna say that conversation for another day.
Yeah, that's when them abortion
Right?
Like-
Type conversations. Because my feelings on black people and Democrats makes me so mad. I don't like Republicans and I don't like Democrats either. But I don't like how black people always ride for Democrats like they've done so much for us. But that's a conversation for another day. At the
Yeah,
end,
because think about it. That because even I think Barack Obama was a Democrat first, and then he went to and then he was a Republican.
he switched to Republican.
Yeah, he did.
He did. I think he wrote out Democrat.
Nah,
Really?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure. I think he changed. I was told that he changed in his last 4 years.
But we need a fact checker. We need a fact check.
Yeah, this is why we need old girl here. But
She ain't hit me up yet. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, Intel, and then so many Black Lives Matter protests, and then it was a Stop Asian Hate bill got passed.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Like that went on for like maybe a month. Like I was only viral for like a month, and then it just stopped out of nowhere. I haven't heard of it since.
And then, like, cause the court, I mean, they passed a bill. They passed a bill for like Asian hate. There was like a big bill passed, and it was like you do certain things to Asian people on like a certain level of hate crime, whatever. And it was just kind of like a kick in the face to black people. It was like we did all these months, and you know what I'm saying? Like Asian people minorities, and you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Black, we minorities. You know, like we ain't in the same boat, but some
But
of
we
our
rolling in the same waters basically.
right, we in the same pool right now. You know, so it's like I'm proud for the Asian community that they got what they got.
But like, what about us?
What
Like,
about exactly? What about us? It's like that's great, y'all out there. And I think a guy explained it. He was like when you like that single homegirl and all your homies girl getting married and you at they wedding and clapping it up for them. And I was like, you just sitting there like waiting on for somebody to come to you. Like, where's your proposal at? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like
yeah.
I'm glad to see
Yeah.
everything winning, but I also want to see myself win too.
Mm-hmm.
And like I felt that was even more disrespectful government. Like, you know, and I'm glad they passed it for them. I feel like anybody who getting discriminated against and there's like a viable something that can be done about it, it should be done. But it's like even with black people and like LGBTQ, you know, LGBTQ has everybody a part of it because it's not a race, it's a group based off like sexuality or whatever. So that group use the same platform as black people. Like, I mean, they use the same blueprint as black people for like their discrimination. And then even they got stuff passed. So it's like every time some other group does something, it's like this works for everybody except black people. And it's just like a kick in the face to black people like every time. That's how I feel. Like I'm glad y'all doing great. I'm glad that the gay community, the LGBTQ community, they can marry each other. You know, that's cool. Go enjoy your love. I'm glad that if something happens to an Asian person, there's a big enough law passed that can help them. Now, black people
Yeah, it's sort of like,
and
when's it going to be my turn?
country, what we getting? Okay, to be real with you, I don't even want the 40 acres and the mule anymore. If you offer,
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm under the understanding we probably ain't gonna get it now. But give me something that's gonna protect my life. You know, I don't know. I find it kind of a joke. And then black people were like, we're inconsistent with like our protests and stuff. I feel like if we was consistent more and like, I don't know, we just kept going, like we wouldn't allow little wins to slow us.
Mm.
What else we got?
We might need to start wrapping up because this might be a longer video. We don't want to keep it too long.
Yeah, we about 35 minutes in.
Mm.
You got one more topic? Let's close out on a little bit brighter note. What's a little brighter controversy? Or just a conspiracy? Find a conspiracy. Y'all got any conspiracies on y'all?
We can do global climate change. Actually, no, we can do animal rights.
Animal?
What that mean?
Yeah, animal rights.
I don't know what that is.
It's like you know who Peter is?
Yeah.
Peter?
PETA.
Yeah.
Peter.
Oh, Peter.
So,
My bad.
Basically, they trying to fight to like they basically trying to turn everybody vegan because they don't believe in like killing animals and stuff like that.
Like,
Basically, overall, that's what they're trying to do.
I love that.
Animal,
No, y'all can
animal rights advocates belief that animals should be able to live free from use in medical research, hunting, agriculture, and other industries that benefit humans. The central conflict here is about conflicting priorities: taking animals or serving humanity's needs.
mm.
So basically, like you know how they use like rats and rabbits and all that stuff for like testing subjects.
Yeah.
Have y'all seen that video of the rabbit?
No.
I've seen videos of like what in particular.
It was like a rabbit, and he was like a test subject, and he was like walking through his life. Yeah, it was wild.
walking through his life.
Well, walking through his day as a test subject, it was wild. I cried.
As a rabbit.
That's how they get you though.
Well, I was speaking on this earlier.
They always show you the dark side of it.
Since we're on animals, I'm gonna go ahead and bring it up. Like the ideology that animals like are smarter than we think. I'm gonna read this book called Animal Revolution. It's just the ideas that the animals are gonna revolt on us one day.
So basically, back to what I was saying. It says here that it says here that they were used as testing subjects for like the COVID vaccine or something like that. COVID vaccine and research, just researching like shampoo, like some as simple as like soap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking, because people like to say that we're so separate from animals. I was like, if we're so different from animals and our minds work completely different. I don't believe animals are that dumb. I was like, if so, why do we test everything on animals?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like there has to be some similarity
Right.
somewhere.
If we can test a vaccine on a rat and it works, and we'll say, time to test it on animals. Test it on humans.
I'm sorry, I
Like-
just laughed for some reason.
Like, where do you get that from? That means that we have to share some like the same DNA.
Yeah, or something has to be like similar, because that's why I'd be like, animals are smarter than we think, That's the movement I'm moving next, guys. It's called Animal Revolution. I'm
Yeah.
reading the book though, so before I get like deep into it and like I speak on anything that leaves a lot of gap bubbles, I just think there's a possibility these animals could revolt, because we assume that they don't know what we're doing or living because we can't understand them. But in the same way, people like animals don't be talking; they just be making noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Communicating. That's how they live.
Indeed.
But should we test on animals? I don't know. What else will we test on?
I don't. Yeah. We wouldn't have anything else to test on except humans, and then it'll be, oh well, let's stop testing on humans. We said we couldn't test on animals, can't test on humans. We're supposed to test on rocks, trees.
Exactly. It's like I don't necessarily
Right.
in the whole animal cruelty thing.
Yeah, animal
Yeah.
cruelty and testing and using animals as testing subject. I think that's two different things. They're
Yeah.
similar things, because
You're pushing for a better cause, though. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's like I'm texting a vaccine, a cure. Like, I'd be trying to test cure, and they'll give a rabbit.
but that's for the embedment of the whole world.
Right.
Animal cruelty is just like, oh, I just feel like hitting my dog today just for no reason.
Right. Like animals, I believe that a lot of our cures are in nature, but we're in a big drug world now, so we do what we got to do out here.
Yeah.
They'll give a rabbit cancer, and then they'll try to cure it. And you saw that thing like they gave like these pills out, and like cancer like completely disappeared in those patients.
Yeah.
Nah, I ain't see that.
Wait.
It was real. Like, it was a real thing.
Yeah.
It was like 3 or 4 people. They gave this guy was working on some pills, and he gave it to him, and like cancer completely disappeared out of their cells. But they couldn't fully give it out because it still got to run through more tests. But guess what? That man's probably gone somewhere, and they won't hear from it again because the government doesn't like stuff like that. But we're not
Exactly.
jump into that.
I've been seeing a lot of videos like that, like somebody figures out the cure to cancer, but we never know because they're silenced too quick. Like they're silenced like that.
The medical world is literally one of the biggest.
Let's keep it short, because now I'm talking about like people being silenced. I don't know. Since we're talking about it, I feel like we go to about association.
Right, I'm just saying.
I'm not saying I know anything. I'm just saying, like,
hypothetically, the government
hypothetically speaking,
takes out people
by popular demand. This is how the world is right now.
And the following statement is just facts. In fact, the medical industry is one of the biggest. The government makes mad money off of pharmaceuticals. Nobody's sick. Nobody goes to doctors. Nobody has to buy drugs.
Exactly.
Buys drugs and goes to doctors, government makes no money. So you found out how to cure a big disease that makes money, we do whatever the government does or doesn't do.
Exactly.
Allegedly, I don't know.
It's an iffy subject, but I mean, we'll get deeper into the next on either next episode or sooner or later. You know.
But we're about to close this one out. So everybody got all their thoughts clear?
Yep.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you for watching, everybody. This is brought to you by EFC Productions. Think it's probably called Late Night Talks because that's simple and I like it.
You'll see the title.
See the
You'll-
title. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And a lot of more segments coming soon. More of this episode. And if you liked it, like it, share it, subscribe, and do all of that YouTube and Instagram stuff. And catch us later. You can follow us on everything at EFCB Productions or EFCB Prod. Either one will probably pop up. And thank you. This is it. And we are out.
Thank you for watching. This episode was made possible by the wonderful people at EFCB Productions and viewers like you. Thank you.